Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan, co-founder and partner in Hashed. Today, we will talk about the IP, um, the blockchain, and empowering creator, the new era of a programmable IP with the story protocol. Uh, Here today, just SY Lee, who is a founder of Story Protocol, and he will talk about how the future of IP, Web3 IP and how he can onboard the IP to the blockchain space. As well, can you introduce yourself and your background?
Yeah, great to meet you all. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Story, and I've been working at the intersection of uh, media, entertainment, and technology for almost the last 11 years. I the latest right before Story, I was working on a mobile original content creation platform, consumption platform called Radish, and I started mobile serialized fiction. It was a mobile serialized fiction company, and the whole thesis was that basically the cheapest and quickest way to create content, original content, is fiction. More than it's cheaper and faster than video, audio, and or any other format you can think of. You can just start with one chapter with writing. So I scale that company and sold that to Kakao Entertainment, which is a huge entertainment conglomerate out of Korea. And I was chief strategy officer there. And around 2 years ago, I started thinking about story and started this full time in 2022 September. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, actually, we have been known each other since Reddish season, and
Yes.
we kept like recommended as well to come to blockchain space for a long time, and eventually he came back with the story protocol, and we invested to the story protocol as a first check investor. I want to start the first question about your vision and your strategy, how to chip into IP industry. What was the inspiration of the story protocol, and how do you envision its role in transforming the creator industry over the next 5 years?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the initial inspiration and kind of talk about the problems that we are f kind of fixing in a more concrete level and how we are providing solution on it. Uh, Above all, basically, you know, uh, the biggest problem that I faced with scaling a content platform like Radish was the fact that in content businesses, you try to make so-called killer IPs, and you try to also market the killer IPs with a lot of marketing budget. So if you look at every single gaming company to even companies like Netflix, which is a platform, but still you throw a bunch of content budget and marketing budget to basically have the platform be competitive. And in a company like Netflix, you have what's so-called a streaming war dynamics, where every single platform from Disney to Netflix to HBO Max is throwing so much money on content and marketing budget and doing a zero-sum game for customers' attention. And I actually faced a mini streaming war type situation where I'm throwing more and more marketing budget to market my content platform, and and the customer acquisition cost was going higher. I basically ended up thinking, okay, I need to partner with the company with the bigger distribution, a bigger distribution budget and marketing budget, and that was Kakao at the time. And obviously, it was a great outcome for me and the shareholders personally, financially, but at the same time, it wasn't the world's changing IP creation platform that I wanted to build at the end of the day. And I started thinking about how do I change this top-down marketing, content budget driven, content platform business model? And I really envied a so-called network effect driven business. A network effect driven business is where the fans and the users of the product evangelize the product without the product's business and actually throwing marketing budget. They do it themselves. There's a network effect. And I think my our key investor Chris Dixon always said the killer app of internet is actually networks. Internet's powerful business networks. How do I infuse that into content business where you have other fans and other actually creators organically building on top of your IP and actually evangelizing your IP. In the same way, in open source development, organically build on top of your work. Uh, so, do you hear me fine? Do you hear me fine?
Little bit cut off, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
now
sorry,
it's
sorry,
got
sorry.
it back.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's okay.
sorry, yeah, yeah. So I started I started thinking about that,
Mm,
and basically the biggest problem basically underlying this entire situation I thought was a centralized intellectual property infrastructure, which is basically the copyright system. When the reason why the copyright system is really kind of a big impediment to making this kind of network formation is that there's um, so many middlemen in terms of
mm,
permissionless and open network formation for an IP. So even let's say Ryan, you want to build on someone's K-pop IP, or if you let's say you want to build on J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, if you want
mm,
to build on someone in internet created a fascinating indie game, you want to build on that mod or an indie game and mod that game and also commercialize that. You have to go through a bunch of lawyers, bunch of agents, a bunch of actually terms of service. You have to look at tech terms of service of these tech platforms or Steam or YouTube or TikTok or whatever platform that content is on. So it's very, very complicated. So because of that, what's really serious is that you have all this friction in terms of creating an IP network with someone else. But what's happening on the internet at the moment is you're seeing exponential growth of content abundance. So social
mm,
media and generative AI put that onto another level. And Ryan, but you have limited time as a consumer. So what happens
mm,
is you have 37 million TikTok videos coming out there, 3 million YouTube videos coming out there, 15 billion images coming out of AI generated every year now. It's going to increase like 10x, 20x over time. Limited time, and no one among creators can build on top of one another and actually make an economically aligned IP network. So it's a
mm,
zero-sum game, IP congestion marketplace. That's number one big market failure that I found. And related to this, the fact that and this when I say IP network formation is the ability to build on someone else's work and actually monetize it and actually and actually join their IP network. And this is a bigger problem now with generative AI content abundance because there's limited time for everyone. And not only that, this whole the fact that you can't do this one-on-one remixing licensing for commercial purpose is bigger problem with generative AI because everyone uh, now let's say what generative AI does, they remix the entire internet and they come up with the creative output. And for generative AI, the basically only OpenAI makes money when they make this creative output for you. But Ryan, back in the days, for now, like when Google or Naver, you can go to actually the website when you search the content. The content people make money out of the traffic. But now you don't have to even go to those website. You actually type, you know.
mm.
What is what is the recent what is New York Times view on Israel and Palestine conflict? You can see the entire thing. New York Times doesn't make money. So in that world, basically, the content the creators will also really, really suffer. So I think basically there are two big market failures of the centralized IP system is the number one. It basically doesn't allow any permissionless open IP network formation. And with this huge abundance, everyone is fighting against one another, even more vigorously for limited consumer attention. Number two is that the centralized IP system is just really, really, really cannot actually compensate creators in this new age of generative AI. So those two market failures really made me, it was really about the first and how I started. But as I build on, as generative AI became such a big issue, and then basically I started thinking about how do we create intellectual property infrastructure that could fix these two big market failures of centralized IP copyright infrastructure. So that was basically the motivation for what I'm building now, and I can kind of dive deeper into how programmable intellectual property layer solves this.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, you mentioned a lot of thesis this
Yeah,
first session, and especially you said at the beginning, you talk about like how we can build the community and network. The
mhm,
marketing budget is huge, and second part is copyright, and eventually AI is now coming in, so copyright problem is getting more complex. And I want
yeah,
to talk about like the network first. So user adoption side, definitely, you have to onboard like an IP creator and of course user and fans. And there should be a lot of dynamic between those participants. So how you can encourage and incentivize each of them to make a network effect. Can you share a little bit about like, secret sauce of yours?
yeah. So I think I probably need to define what programmable IP layer mean, basically before probably going into that. But those two different thesis problem about network formation, copyrights inability to respond to basically generative AI. That all comes down to the basically the failure of the current centralized copyright system. And what we're trying to do is we make intellectual property programmable, and there's a built-in API for remixing, licensing, royalty sharing for each piece of content, each piece of IP. And the best way to think about this is in the same way, programmable money, now that money has a built-in API and for open and permissionless way of any developers to build on top of money, it turned every money into money Lego. In the same way, what programmable IP does is just turning every piece of IP, what we call in the crypto space, like static JPEG NFTs, into basically a programmable into an IP Lego. So now
Mm,
you, Ryan, can go to any one else's IP and build on top and remix, license, fork that IP and commercialize it. And you don't have to basically go through lawyer agent, anyone in between, and you basically can do it very frictionlessly in an open way and turn it into any mediums, turn it into any on any platforms, and it's a small contract does it according to the rule kit that basically the creator has set or the developer has set around that IP. So and one of the how we've been basically approaching for now the business, I think, is really working with great IP I think mostly working with developers
mm,
that are really related to content. There are two kind of key areas that we really focused on. Number one is the kind of what we called you know collaborative creation that basically allows IP creators to really unlock this network effect of having a lot of other fans and creators and really capitalizing on their creativity. So one way is I'll give you an example of an app like this. Okay, it's an app called Sekai, in which I think and it was a company that was actually that joined our Alpha Hackathon last winter, and then actually recently won the Eat Denver Hackathon out of 250 teams. It's an ex-Coinbase engineer, and what it does is uh, now every single character, every single world, like Azuki world to Marvel world, every single scenes that IP creators register on our blockchain or IP creators create, any users create on our blockchain, basically becomes a Lego piece. And you can use, pick Azuki World and 10 characters you love that is created by others and fork a storyline that's already created and mesh this together and create it, and with generative AI, you can create your own anime. And then you'll see it. And then the big network effect is everyone is bringing their Lego pieces, and you're basically the community is bringing Lego pieces, and as a content creator, you mash them together, and there's an output. There's an output, and when you monetize it in a like a Candy Crush or Webtoon style, early access model, everyone backend makes money, who contributed to Lego. So this is one app that's actually on the collaborative creation side that's actually so this kind of content is hopefully they'll be pumping on a lot of IP Legos, pumping a lot of storylines, and then now it's getting registered. And in the future, anyone within Sekai app or any actually someone who's making game now can bring the characters coming on in an interoperable way and then use it according to the licensing term, remixing term, royalty sharing term they've set. Right, right. So that's one of the things. But we have an app like Magma. It's a Figma for game illustrators. That's 2 million artists pumping out 10 million drawings a year. All these characters that are getting registered is now frictionally usable by a webtoon platform or anime platform for like Sekai, and a platform like a gaming platform that comes on board. So think of Ryan, our company as our blockchain as an IP Legoland, like giant IP Lego.
Yeah.
There's all these images, art, characters that's lying around, and you're like you think of yourself as like a excited kid, excited child, and you can use all these IP Legos and mash it together. Back in the days, you have to go to lawyers, agents, all these other people. But now all the IP has a built-in API for licensing, royalty sharing, all the metadata around licensing, royalty sharing. It's all machine readable. You don't know, it's all written in code, and you can just read it
Hmm.
and do it, and smart contracts does it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. So I think us let's get great apps that are pumping out great IPs,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah, we have just 10 minutes, so I will
Eh,
do faster. So maybe we can talk about a little bit about the intellectual property rights. So you mentioned like we are making a Legoland for IP. So
mm.
sometimes like if the creator want to build on top of IP, you define your blockchain, that's fine. And but how about just someone just copy the existing IP and they're building the product outside of Story protocol, then how you can make a kind of penalty those kind of bad actors.
So I think there are three ways. One is that I will say there's a happy path,
Mm,
where actually getting image in Shutterstock, right, is also making billions dollars of revenue out of actually good actors licensing the content. Because
mm,
there's a because and there are people who are probably using Getty Images, Shutterstock, without their consent. Actually, Stable Diffusion did that, and actually they're getting sued. But anyway, so it could happen, but there's a happy path. So I think there's a happy path of actually people because it's so easy and it's so easy to do this in a remix and license and OpenAI people respect. There's a happy path. The most extreme path is actually all the licenses that we created are really extensively worked with by legal experts, and you can actually go off chain. And if someone is violating your licensing terms, you can go resort to the court if you want to. That's possible. And the
Got it.
medium thing is actually we medium term is actually on-chain dispute mechanics. And then we've been basically we're going to reveal this further in the near future. I think around ETHCC, but I think that we have this concept of actually something like a proof of creativity where you have in this we use the proof of stake system of Ethereum to basically stake your IP token, a story token, to validate and attest the validity of the IP that actually it's a fair IP. It's following the rules of smart contracts, following it's actually doing what it's actually saying it's actually the IP that it says it is, and it's actually following the rule. And actually, Ryan, you can dispute then and the people can stake their IP token or basically the staking mechanism is there to validate the IP ledger. In the same way, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all the energy is going to validating the money ledger, financial ledger. And if someone disputes it, and actually it's found out that it's a false IP, the stakers lose money, and the disputers actually take some of the upside of the staked IP token. So everyone now has an incentivized to dispute something that actually looks very fishy. Looks very wrong. So we're using crypto economics to basically economics. We call it almost like optimistic economic validation of intellectual property with tokenomics. Yeah, we have the kind of on-chain way of also
Mm.
validating and disputing IPs as well. But as a last resort, you can go to the court. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I think no, definitely this kind of collaborative IP validation should be perfect for token economics and also like
Yeah.
that's part of the blockchain. And here's like, eventually, like you mentioned, like a stable diffusion will be get sued by a lot of
Yeah.
creators. And definitely now AI is a kind of one of the threat for IP sector because they generate so many contents, but with just one click. So how Story Protocol is preparing like the scenario that AI is like getting into the IP space and maybe it can be messy situation between the creator and
Uh,
AI companies. How do you see how do you view the
so so
and how Story Protocol will cover it?
we create a programmable IP layer to basically respond to the failures of centralized IP system to create an IP network. But at the same time, also we're doing a lot of ecosystem partnerships and work on actually fixing the kind of the intellectual property issue for AI. And actually, my co-founder is also from DeepMind that created AlphaGo and all this as well. And what we're doing is actually every step of creative process of generative AI content, let's say training data sets, AI models, and you can actually fine-tune the model with fine-tuning data sets with AI models, and there's a fine-tuned model, and now it's putting out output. Every single element from training data sets to fine-tuning data sets, AI models to output, they're all IP Legos with the built-in licensing royalty sharing terms. So one of the things we're trying to do basically, we are incubating an app where it's a Web3 Hugging Face for AI models and actually fine-tuning data sets for now. And let's say, Ryan, you have a foundational model and you want to actually, oh, there's a fine-tuning data set of Taylor Swift. You fine tune that actually 4 minute song generation model with Taylor Swift's model. And Taylor Swift's training data set, fine tuning data set already has a royalty sharing licensing term around usage of her of songs and basically licensing terms. And you just fine tune it and pump out Taylor Swift style songs and commercialize in other platforms. Now you get a distribution. You can also not only use fine tuning, you can remix different models and create a new AI character model out of 5 or 10 different character models. And now there's a provenance and attribution around 5 to 10 character models. And also, what's interesting is the new fine-tuned model that's getting created with some royalty licensing sharing term in between. When outputs get pumped down, it's going to follow the rules that are set by the AI model in this licensing royalty sharing. So we're turning model to fine-tuning data set, training data set to output, all IP Lego with their built-in licensing royalty sharing. At the moment, people are just remixing all these things without no terms. There's no provenance attribution, and this is going to be problematic. We are building towards this future because at the moment I'm actually even hearing foundational model company people say already data is getting run out.
Mm,
They want valuable data. The value of valuable data will exponentially increase, and then you can make basically this is a great you can inject scarcity and all these things for blockchain and I have licensing to royalty sharing to you can have provenance attribution compensation layer. And we're going to be the IP monetization layer for models to fine-tuning data sets, basically. Yeah.
yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I think time is almost up. Maybe you can share just 1, 2 sentences about, what's your milestone, next 6 months to 1 year, and what's your
Yeah.
goal this year?
I think we'll probably get towards a kind of our test and launch with our partners, and then probably mainnet launch very short after that. So it's really about now bootstrapping great, incredible IPs and creators on our ecosystem through exciting applications that are coming on board. We're a very dev-focused company. We're
Mm,
more about onboarding bottoms-up IPs that are actually apps are creating. And once that's done, really I mean, we want to have all the building blocks and kind of version, I don't know, one of our fun IP Legoland that's actually going to come
mm.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we hear a very inspiring story about the story protocol from SY. Thank you for having time here, and thank you for exhibiting it. Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
Ryan, for because you're a big supporter from day one. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.